Thanks for joining us on another thrilling episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips from jaw-dropping, never-before-seen sightings of the Mothman and other cryptids to explosive footage suggesting that Southern California fires were anything but accidental. Are you ready to be shocked? If you are, let's dive right in.
Swipes the card, and then after it goes through, he goes, just so you know, it's a monthly charge. Yeah.
I know most of us have seen the Southern California clips, but I can almost guarantee that not many of us have seen this particular one, which is also from Southern California. Aaron found this on one of his conspiracy platforms where the uploader claims to have seen flashes like this right before the fires started in his neighborhood. What does this look like to you, and why are these flashes occurring before the fires? After a lot of deliberation and back and forth, many in the community believe that what we are seeing are lasers at work. If this is true, it starts a whole conversation many are not ready for. I mean, I want to give the whole situation the benefit of the doubt, but it's hard to do that when we got this clip that appears to be genuine. Properties and lives have been lost, and none of it is quantifiable. Many are never going to be able to recover from this. So if this clip is true and genuine, who is using these lasers to start the fires and why? It's hard to say, but many suspect the government, whereas a few people think this might be linked to the increasing activity in our atmosphere over the Christmas period. While these individuals do have solid points, a few people think there might be a more grounded explanation for the whole thing. Some suggested that it could be simply power lines or a transformer blowing. While that does sound logical, the community has largely rejected it in favor of the laser theory. You've seen the clip yourself, so what do you think? Was it a coordinated laser attack, or did a random transformer explode? Let's hear your thoughts.
And after it goes through, he goes, just so you know, it's a monthly charge. Yeah. He told me
While out in the woods, a couple of friends noticed that there was an unusual-looking creature ahead of them. They took out their flashlights and started pointing them in the direction they felt the movement and saw the creature. While doing that, one of them thought it would be a great idea to film, and what you see on your screen is the result of that filming section. They never caught up to it, which to me is a good thing, but they uploaded it online for answers. Naturally, Aaron got busy with this one, and after a whole 10 minutes of analyzing the clip, he concluded that if this was real, then it might be a skinwalker. Some team members argued that it could also be a rake, but its height was an extraneous variable that could be linked to the rake. Either way, as the debate was ongoing, Julius, our science whiz, walked in, took one look at the clip, and called it doctored footage, possibly CGI. I know how you guys feel about Julius sometimes, but he could be right about this one. So our attention was brought to this clip that has apparently been making rounds this past few weeks. The original poster claims he found this rock somewhere in Egypt and that it's an ancient artifact. Initially, he only thought it looked interesting, but once he brought it to his home, objects started acting weird around it. First off, when the individual held it near a bulb, the bulb went off. Finding that to be interesting, he tried other electrical objects like a television, which started glitching. He also tried placing it around water and it started to boil. The weirdest thing might be what happened when he held it up near a mirror, and no, the mirror didn't break. Instead, the stone didn't have a reflection. Naturally, the uploader had questions, but the community couldn't agree on what this could be. Some called it a mystical rock, whereas others felt it might be radioactive. Some even called the whole thing a hoax and asked the poster to come clean and tell the truth. You've seen the clip, so what do you think? While you share your thoughts on that, we visit West Virginia, where a cryptid we thought belonged to myth has made an appearance. The clip you see on your screen was recorded by an urban explorer popularly known as Urbex Hill while he was exploring abandoned tunnels. His time in this particular set of tunnels was largely uneventful, but for some drawings he found in the tunnel. He kept exploring and filming, though, hoping to capture something important, and he certainly did. If you pay attention to the clip, you should see with your two eyes that pop out from the darkness a few meters from him and go back into hiding. While at the location, he didn't notice it, but when he was returning home, he thought he saw it. Filled with excitement, he uploaded the clip online and asked people what they thought they were dealing with. Given that he was in West Virginia, many people thought he had encountered the Mothman, since he's a cryptid known to roam these parts. There's not a lot of light or footage to go around, but based on what you see, do you think this could really be the Mothman? Imagine sitting in your room and seeing something like this appear. How would you respond to it? While most individuals would have gotten out of the place, the uploader of this clip managed to gather the courage to record and then upload it. She didn't upload to show off, though. She wanted answers because she was slightly shaken by the experience. Fortunately for her, many in the community took up the interest in the clip. A number of them believed it was a glitch in the Matrix, whilst a minute few felt it was definitely AI or CGI. You've seen the clip, so what do you also think? And just like that, we're back to the Southern California fires. This time it's not an official report, but rather something someone named Kennard captured while streaming the raging fires from downtown Los Angeles. There are two clips, and with both clips, you see what looks like flying crafts going into and out of the fire. The second clip has an additional detail in the form of loud booms.
Okay, I think we're good there. Oh my god, did you guys hear that? You see what I'm talking about?
These booms are unexpected and add to the mystery of the clips he was capturing. Once he uploaded the clips, he had members of the community talking, with some wondering what these flying objects were. Some even suggested they were definitely UFOs, but why would UFOs be visiting the fires occasionally and returning? Were they putting chemicals into the fires or collecting something from the devastation the fire was causing? Aaron was thinking through the whole thing and coming up with theories until Julius showed up, took a look at the clip, and stated that it was most likely a sped-up clip. Our video editor took a second and a critical look at it and confirmed that it was indeed sped up. That would mean the supposed booms were explosions from the fire that were now happening quickly due to the sped-up nature of the clip. That doesn't solve the UFOs now, or does it? Well, if the clip is sped up, then there's a possibility that those crafts are just helicopters and planes that are being used in fighting the fire. That would explain why they kept returning in the clip. So basically, no mystery here. Bummer.
Okay, I think we're good there. Oh my god, did you guys hear that?
Everyone was so excited for the start of 2025, and I'm no exception. The year has, however, started off in a way that has got us all thinking. Take these clips for instance. The Empire State Building, State Capitol, and Washington Monument were all struck by lightning almost simultaneously. When you have lightning striking three of your most important buildings as a nation, you should definitely give it some thought and try to figure it out and see if it's a sign. The US would, however, not have the luxury because a few seconds after these strikes, someone ran into a crowd in New Orleans using a Ford 150. Talk about a strange way to start the year. Anyone who is a mathematician or statistician would tell you the probability of these events happening the way they did is extremely on the low side, but they still occurred. This has got some believers in the paranormal wondering if the lightning strike was a sign of an impending omen. If it was, it looks like it was effective in delivering its message, but we're unable to decode the message. Is 2026 going to be the year where we look to the skies for direction for the unknown future, like our ancestors did? Well, if I'm one to make a prediction based on this coincidence, I would say yes, but what do you guys say?
Look at him spraying. Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again. Bro, this is crazy, man.
You know how we've been seeing weird outlines in the sky? Well, this man actually caught a craft creating one live, and that's what you're actually watching on your screen right now. If you pay attention to the clip, you should see the plane flying vertically with what looks like a cloud behind it. According to the man filming, the plane is actually spraying something into the atmosphere that's leaving the outline. He's shocked and intrigued at the same time, wondering what all could be going on. If you've been on this channel long enough, then you've probably heard of chemtrails, which is what we think the plane might be discharging. For the new ones here, the chemtrail conspiracy theory suggests that the white streaks left behind by aeroplanes, known as contrails, are not just water vapor and ice crystals, but actually chemicals deliberately sprayed into the atmosphere by governments or other entities. The conspiracy theory suggests that they're being used for purposes such as weather control, population manipulation, or even secret biological experiments. Despite its popularity in conspiracy circles, scientists and aviation experts have repeatedly debunked the theory, explaining that contrails form naturally when hot, moist exhaust from aircraft engines meets cold air at high altitudes, creating visible condensation. There's no credible evidence supporting the existence of chemtrails, but the theory persists due to distrust in authority and misinterpretation of atmospheric science. You've seen the clip yourself, so what do you also think?
Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again.
This particular clip is one I need help with. My team is being divided on it. The clip starts off looking normal with what looks like the tail of a cat swinging. Just then another cat walks past and moves through the curtain to the other side. And that's when it gets weird. Just as the cat enters the other side, a shadow-like figure comes from the other side with glowing eyes to the same room the cat has just left. The one who uploaded the footage states that he was just reviewing footage from the security cameras in the room when he came across this. Naturally, it's got him spooked and searching for answers. And with this one, I personally asked Julius to come and take a look, and he thinks it's possibly the reflection of the cat on the floor. Aaron, on the other hand, states it could be an evil spirit, which is the cause of the divided opinions. There are some in the team who sided with Julius and some who sided with Aaron. What do you guys think, and who do you side with, or do you have your own theories? Let's hear you in the comments section.
this shit's turning, bro. Mom, es un hombre. Es un hombre.
Speaking of strange sights, take a look at this one. A young man was hanging outside one day when he noticed something unusual in the sky. He's heard saying the word hombre, which is Spanish for man. He believes the figure is a man, and looking at it, I understand why he thinks that. He tells his mom the same thing and uploads it online, asking if people could see what he saw. A chunk of the individuals in the paranormal community who saw it believed it was really a man. One individual, however, pointed out that it might be nothing more than a plastic bag that's been picked up by the wind. This, of course, led to a debate, which repeated itself in our office when we tried to discuss it. But you've seen the clip, so what do you think? Have you ever wondered what would happen if you were to enter a black hole? Well, this clip is your answer. As you approach the black hole from a third-person perspective, time would seem to slow down. To an outside observer, it would look like you're moving slower and slower until eventually you vanish at the event horizon. But what's really happening? At the center of a black hole known as the singularity, light itself cannot escape due to the immense gravitational pull. The intense gravity warps space and time so dramatically that the laws of physics as we know them break down. Now, how did scientists even come up with this theory? Through mathematical equations and observations of gravitational effects in space, they've developed models to describe what might happen. But don't worry, this isn't exactly something anyone is volunteering to test out firsthand. Years ago, during the Second World War, there was a mysterious project known as Project Race, and it was orchestrated by the Nazis in the mountains of Poland. For this project, they constructed massive structures interconnected by a network of caves deep in the mountains. Although they were unable to complete the project, one notable success was a colossal castle built in the area. These caves were abandoned for decades, but there were chilling rumors about what went on there. Stories of secret experiments, attempts to resurrect the dead, and even endeavors into time travel have fueled speculation for years. Recently, explorers went into the abandoned tunnels documenting their experience. As they made their way through the eerie passages, they captured this on camera. A pale, humanoid figure running on 2 feet ahead of them in the darkness. They uploaded the clip they recorded, and many theories followed. Many who saw the clip think that the Nazis may have succeeded in at least one of their experiments and created something otherworldly. Looking at the clip, I'm tempted to think this could be a remnant of those alleged experiments. But do you think it's crazy to think that? Do you have a more logical explanation? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section. This footage was taken by a pedestrian in Mexico late at night. He was standing on the side of the road waiting for his vehicle when he noticed something unusual on the overpass ahead. There in the darkness, a pair of red glowing eyes stared back at him. Despite the dim lighting, you could make out the faint outline of a head, giving the eerie figure a distinct shape. In Mexico, the legend of the Mothman is well known. This was captured in one of the places where this mysterious creature has reportedly been sighting most frequently. The man who captured this footage is convinced that what he saw was, in fact, the infamous Mothman. Do you think this is true? Could this really be the Mothman, or is there a more grounded explanation? This intriguing footage comes from a man in Utah who noticed an unusual cloud in the evening sky just across the street. At first glance, it appeared to be just another cloud, but upon closer inspection, its shape looked eerily similar to the saucer. What made it even stranger were the flickering lights emanating from the cloud. Oddly enough, this was the only cloud in the area at the time. As the footage zoomed in, things got even more bizarre. An orb appeared at the top of the cloud and slowly descended into it as if merging with the strange formation. Could this be evidence of a cloaked UFO hiding in plain sight? Let's hear your thoughts. So, this may just be one of the strangest, most chaotic-looking clips we've had in a while. The clip starts off with a bunny playing, which is then interrupted by a pair of legs running at the right top corner of the frame. I mean, it's not every day you see a pair of legs run without the upper body, right? Reminds me of the statement, running around like a headless chicken, or, well, is it a footless chicken? I blame King Julian for my confusion. Anyway, the individual who recorded the clip insists that after the legs have gone past the tree, a shadow being appears. The shadow being part isn't very clear to me, but what do you guys think? There are many strange instances that sometimes seem too bizarre to be mere coincidences. Listen to these unusual stories and tell me what you think about them. Back in 2020, a fan of the rapper Boozy Badass attended one of his concerts. During the concert, there was an emergency and the rapper needed insulin. Coincidentally, this woman happened to have the exact dose he required. She willingly gave it to him without asking for any compensation except for a photo with him. On her way home from the concert, she bought a scratch-off ticket and won $10,000. If you think that's crazy, listen to this next story. There lived a man named Walter Summerfoot. Walter had been struck by lightning a few times during his life, but even after his death, the bizarre occurrences continued. Lightning struck his grave one last time as if he had offended the heavens. In another shocking situation back in 1997, a flight had a layover, and when it was time to continue the journey, a Spanish lady refused to board the plane and instead stayed at the layover location, which was not permitted. That choice ultimately saved her life as the flight experienced the deadliest collision in aviation history, resulting in 583 casualties. It seemed it just wasn't her time to go. Let's take another astonishing story from 1935. A fisherman in Australia caught a tiger shark, which was put on display at an aquarium in Sydney. While the shark was on display, it vomited a human arm. We know sharks are predators, but this arm wasn't bitten off, it had been cut off. This led to an investigation and the actual perpetrators were caught and sentenced. These stories are indeed incredible, but how is this even possible? Do you believe they're true? A man was out driving late one night trying to capture the full moon on video for his kids when his truck suddenly jolted as if it hit something. Startled, he glanced at his rearview mirror expecting to see debris or maybe an animal. Instead, his heart skipped a beat. A figure lay motionless on the ground behind his truck. Shaken, he turned to look with his own eyes, but the robe was empty. Confused, he checked the monitor again, and what he saw next froze him in place. The figure was no longer on the ground, it was standing upright, staring directly at his truck. Its faintly transparent form was eerily visible on the monitor, but when he looked back outside, there was nothing there. Was this a true ghostly encounter, or could there be another explanation for this unsettling event? Share your thoughts below. A security guard stationed at Suvarnabhumi Airport in Thailand captured some intriguing footage and decided to share it online. While conducting his routine rounds, he came across a group of individuals calmly walking along a section of the terminal's pavement, much like passengers disembarking from a plane. However, the eerie detail was that there was no plane in sight. This happened in the Suvarnabhumi airport in Bangkok. This place is said to be haunted, with numerous chilling tales and ghost stories surrounding the locals. Over the years, locals have reported various encounters leading to the construction of altars and shrines throughout the area to appease the restless spirits believed to inhabit it. It's undeniably creepy. What do we have here? A diver poses for a photo next to this eerie figure under the water, a person with a mask on their face bound by chains. At first glance, it almost seems like the figure is staring directly at you, and no, there's no swimming gear on this person. Something about those eyes is deeply unsettling, but don't worry, it's not a real person. This is actually a dummy installed in Crystal Lake, Minnesota by a diver. The dummy was inspired by the infamous serial killer character Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movies. This spooky setup has been in the lake for over a decade, and many divers visit the site to snap photographs with it. The creator placed the dummy deep underwater, ensuring only experienced scuba divers could find it, avoiding giving unsuspecting swimmers a heart attack. Still, just watching the footage of it is enough to give anyone the chills, especially if they have seen the movie. A resident of Pennsylvania stepped outside his home one evening only to be greeted and then astonished by this striking red beam of light illuminating the sky. This unusual phenomenon has not only caught his attention, but has also drawn numerous reports from others in the area who claim to have witnessed similar beams of light across the sky. The frequency of these sightings raises questions. Is this merely a coincidence, or could there be a larger, more mysterious event occurring in the region? As curiosity grows, people are left to ponder the possible explanations behind these captivating beams. A woman was home alone one night when she saw this outside in the dead of night, staring right at her. It was a pair of glowing eyes fixed on her from the darkness. The figure stood there for a while, completely still before backing away into the shadows. When we received the footage, members of the team were very skeptical about its authenticity. Our video editor played around with the footage a bit by enhancing and brightening it up, and once he was done, we could see a face in the clip. That's definitely not normal, and it left the team debating if this was indeed a Bigfoot, Dogman, or Skinwalker. They never came to a conclusion on which of these it actually was, but you've seen the clip, so what do you think? It's heartbreaking to see what's happening in LA right now. The fires are devastating homes, properties, and lives. But like so many things that happen in America, there are some odd details people may not have noticed. In one piece of footage, a woman was near the Palisades area by the coast where some of the fires reportedly started. She saw something strange in the ocean, a submerged object emerging briefly from under the water. She described it as a boat that surfaced momentarily before sinking again, leaving part of itself visible just above the waterline. What could it be? And what are the odds it appeared right where the fires began? In another video, someone was driving through a burning neighborhood, capturing the destruction. You can see a house completely engulfed in flames with a charred car beneath the tree, and yet the tree itself is untouched by the fire. How does that happen? The car is reduced to ashes, but the tree stands intact. Very strange, don't you think? And it gets even weirder. During a live TV broadcast covering the fires, a viewer noticed something unusual, a purple light glowing in the sky. Then off to the right, there was another glowing light, this one blue. What could these lights be? But here's the most bizarre part. In another live broadcast during a bird's-eye view of the West Hills area, something zips across the screen. A UFO moving incredibly fast. Watch closely. It's there for just a split second, but it's unmistakable. With all these strange sightings and anomalies, it's clear there is something else going on out there.
This is a random one. Where are we even? Like, what the hell?
Oh, that's on
my
purpose.
God.
That has to be on purpose.
The fireman.
A group of friends were driving out of the Hollywood Hills when they stumbled upon something strange in Koreatown. It was a random flame on a building, and what's odd is that no one seemed to care. People were casually walking by, paying no attention to the fire. Given everything happening in Los Angeles right now, it makes you wonder, why isn't anyone alarmed by this fire? And when you start looking deeper into the situation with the LA fires, doesn't it feel like there's something off? Let's be clear, this isn't to diminish the pain and struggles of those directly affected, but have you ever stopped to think about why this has become such a dominant narrative? Who benefits from everyone being so focused on these fires? Could it be that this massive coverage is a way to distract us from something else going on in the shadows?
This is a random one. Where are we even? Like, what the hell?
Oh, that's on
my
purpose.
God.
That has to be on purpose.
The fireman.
Let's take a look at this footage. A man was out alone one night exploring the woods when he stumbled upon this abandoned boat sitting on land. It looked out of place, and inside the boat were boxes and random items scattered around. As he walked around the boat, he passed by a wide open window. Suddenly, something inside the boat moved. You can see it. It's a figure shifting in the darkness. The man panicked and bolted out there, clearly shaken. Now let's replay that moment. It's dark, so we can't make out much detail, but you can see what looks like brown fur, broad shoulders and arms. Some people think this is an alien, but honestly, it might just be a bear taking shelter. What do you think? A man was relaxing in his home when he suddenly heard the doorbell ring. Curiously, he went to check, but to his surprise, there was no one at the door. So he decided to keep an eye on the doorbell video feed to see if anything unusual would happen. What he discovered was bizarre. As he watched the footage, he noticed a series of strange gurgling and growling sounds echoing eerily around the entrance. His attention was suddenly drawn to a peculiar flickering light that appeared right in front of his porch. Some people speculated that this might be the work of a supernatural entity trying to lure him and his family outside, but others with a more skeptical approach pointed out some important details. When you look at the side of the porch, there is a bucket filled with skulls and a long table decorated in a peculiar manner. This looks like Halloween decorations, and the flickering lights are a speaker with LED lights for the noises. Instead of a paranormal event, it seems more plausible that this is a Halloween prank, not a paranormal encounter. A man was out for a late-night stroll in the park when he noticed this figure standing under a streetlight staring intently into the light. It looks humanoid and male and is covered in a long black robe from neck to toe. The only part of him visible was his pale head. His ears were slightly pointed and had an unnaturally shaped appearance. The man, feeling an overwhelming sense of unease, decided to maintain a safe distance while filming this strange encounter on his phone. Suddenly, without warning, the figure whips around to face him, but you cannot see his face well due to the darkness. The man believes that this was a vampire. In today's world, with all the myths and legends surrounding supernatural creatures, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. Soon after sharing his experience, a commenter chimed in with an interesting observation saying this: "Pretty sure I've seen this in a film or a short film for school. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it is. Could this be the case, or could it actually be a genuine vampire encounter? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments section." Technology has played a massive role in the world's development, fueling our progress with resources like gas, petrol, oil, and so much more. But did you know that water was once explored as a potential fuel? Yes, a man named Stanley Mayer invented a car that ran entirely on water. That's right, water as fuel. His invention was so groundbreaking that even the Pentagon showed an interest in it. Imagine the possibilities. A vehicle requiring no expensive maintenance, no gas, no oil, just water. It could have revolutionized the world and solved countless problems, even helping to combat issues like flooding. Back in the 1990s, Stanley was on the brink of signing a multi-million-dollar deal for his invention. But then something strange happened. While dining out, he suddenly fell ill. On his deathbed, Stanley claimed he had been poisoned. He passed away unexpectedly, leaving his invention and its promise shrouded in mystery. Now here's the eerie part. Have you noticed how many inventors of world-changing eco-friendly technology seem to meet untimely and suspicious ends? Peoples whose innovations challenge powerful corporations often seem to vanish or die unexpectedly. Why do you think this happens?
If you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water, and if you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, then use salt water because there's no adverse effect to the fuel cell.
A man was walking through the streets of Boston when he stumbled upon something strange. Parked on the side of the street was a car with a mysterious object resting on its hood. The object looked unusual, and it had an inscription that read CSA ASC. After people saw the footage, it was concluded that this might have been a satellite that fell from space, possibly a Canadian satellite. It does resemble one, and the markings align with such speculation. But here's the real question. Would a satellite falling from space cause so little damage? Yes, the car hood is dented, but the rest of the vehicle seems completely intact. For something that would have plummeted from orbit at high speed, you'd expect a lot more destruction, right? The man even returned to the scene the next day to get a closer look and show that this was not staged. So what's really going on here? A legitimate space incident, a carefully crafted hoax, or perhaps something entirely different? Let us know what you think. A TikToker hiker recently shared a chilling experience from his nighttime hike in the Appalachian Mountains. Check out the footage. In the middle of his hike, he started hearing strange noises echoing through the woods. It sounded like people calling for help and crying out in distress. Now, if you know anything about the Appalachian Mountains, you're aware of the legends surrounding them. Stories of mysterious creatures and unexplained phenomenon are pretty common. The uploader suggested this might actually be a Wendigo or a mimic. I know it sounds like a bit of a stretch, but this is the Appalachian Mountains we're talking about. Julius, our scientist, listened to the audio and stated that it was oddly familiar. He argued that there was a chance the sounds we were hearing were pre-recorded and uploaded. Personally, I must say that after listening over and over and over, I have to agree with Julius on this one. It really does seem like the sounds were pre-recorded and added to the footage. While it's definitely spooky, I'm calling this one a hoax. Nice try, though. This woman shared a chilling experience and discovery from her property in upstate New York. One day, she was outside with her dogs when she heard her neighbor calling her name. Thinking he needed help, she headed toward the voice. Then, something felt off. It was coming from deep inside the woods. Confused, she texted her neighbor, and guess what? He said he wasn't even home. The voice sounded exactly like him, though. This has all the hallmarks of a mimic encounter, doesn't it? Mimics are infamous for imitating human voices to lure unsuspecting victims, but there's something even more unsettling about this story. The woman, a farmer, owns a property with a barn. While walking her land, she stumbled across something odd, 4-foot-deep crevices running along the edges of her property. These crevices weren't natural, they were deliberately filled with wooden debris. And here's the kicker, they were already there when she bought the place. Her gut tells her that whoever owned the land before her wasn't just dealing with an ordinary pest problem. Were they trying to keep something out, or worse, keep something in? Could mimics be the reason for these eerie defenses? What's your take on it?
But this is kind of how a lot of them are. Like, I didn't put any of this stuff in these crevices. Trees grow up, like, I mean, it goes down, like right there is 3 feet, from 4 feet. And I didn't put any of the stuff in here. This was all here because of the farmer. I guess maybe he did it.
This next footage comes from a police body cam. The officer was on patrol late at night when he noticed a blue 1999 Chevy parked on the side of the road. So he approached the car. Take a look at the passenger side window. There it is, a hand pressed against the glass, but then it just disappears. As the officer got closer and peeked inside, he found the car completely empty. That's right, no one was inside, and yet we clearly saw that hand on the window. Things got even stranger when the officer walked around the car. The radio suddenly turned on and started playing, but the car was not even running. The dash cam revealed no ignition activity and there wasn't a soul around. So how did this car get there, and who or what was left behind? I guess we'll never truly know.
This is some spooky right here. I'm gonna have to call this in the sheriff's department.
A family had been hearing footsteps in their home late at night and wanted to figure out what or who was causing the noise. So they decided to pour powder on the section of the hallway floor and set up a camera to capture any activity. Now, watch this. After some time, footprints started to appear in the powder, bare, human-shaped prints. But here's the twist. The family insists no one was there. At first glance, this seems pretty convincing, but when you look closely, it becomes clear that the footage has been edited. Sorry to disappoint, but this is fake footage. A man walking through the Wicklow Mountains in Ireland stumbled upon something chilling. Take a look at this. A trail of red stretched across the snow as though something had been killed and dragged down the mountain. What's unsettling is there were no remains, nothing to indicate whether this was human or animal. The Wicklow Mountains aren't known to have wolves or large predators, so what could have caused this? He started to feel it could have been a murder scene, but that will just be inhumane and gruesome. Let's hope this was just a simple case of an animal hunting its prey and dragging it through the snow. At least, that's what I'd like to believe, but there's something about this scene that just doesn't sit right. Don't you agree? A home surveillance camera recorded something truly chilling. The room is dimly lit, with only the faint glow of the TV casting light. But focus on the right side of the screen. A shadowy figure is standing there, its back turned to the TV. Then out of nowhere, an unseen force violently drags the figure across the floor and straight into the wall by the TV. Take a closer look. What on earth could be happening here? Is this evidence of paranormal activity, or is there a more rational explanation that we are missing?
Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Don't ever do it! Absolutely stunning. Just delicious. It is so good.
This particular footage has stirred up quite a conversation within some Christian and conspiracy circles. It involves this prominent pastor who has faced speculation and scrutiny for unusual behavior. Take a look at these clips of him. Some believe he might be a false prophet due to certain mannerisms, speech patterns, and controversies surrounding him. What really fueled the intrigue, though, is the claim by some that he could be a reptilian, a theory based on supposed odd moments in his videos where his eyes or expressions seemed unnatural. Of course, many attribute those interpretations to video glitches, tricks of the light, or simple over-analysis. However, for those who find significance in these conspiracies, the pastor's behavior fits into a broader narrative of hidden figures in influential positions. What do you think? Are these just baseless theories, or do they point to something more mysterious?
Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Don't ever do it! Absolutely stunning. Just delicious. It is so good.
A home security camera captured footage that's chilling, to say the least. The camera, which was set up in a room facing a glass window, picked up something eerie in the dead of night. Out of nowhere, a white face with no visible nose and two pitch-black eyes appeared at the window. It peered into the room for just a moment, scanning its surroundings before retreating back into the darkness. What kind of creature was this? What would you do if you saw this staring back at you in the middle of the night? Accidents are unfortunate situations that can sometimes defy explanation. However, when we examine the footage here, we can't help but wonder if there might be something more sinister at play. In this video, we witness a motor accident, as is evident. The motor lies on the ground and the footage was captured by the helmet camera that continued to record even after it fell off the rider's head. What's truly unsettling is what the camera captured. Just behind the fallen motor, concealed among the bushes, a dark figure emerges. This figure appears from behind a tree and with an eerie, sinister countenance gazing directly at the camera. The figure's eerie appearance might lead one to ponder whether it's an embodiment of an evil entity, possibly even evoking thoughts of the Grim Reaper or an ominous spirit that played a role in causing the accident. A homeowner was peacefully asleep one night when he was jolted awake by peculiar noises coming from the roof. At first, he tried to dismiss the sounds, but they became too unsettling to ignore. Grabbing his phone and a flashlight, he gathered the courage to investigate. What he stumbled upon was nothing short of spine-tingling. Perched on the roof, there was a pallid head propped up, adorned with two dark, eerie eyes that fixated on the homeowner. The intruder bore no resemblance to a human, leaving everyone bewildered and pondering whether this was a paranormal creature, and if it was, what its purpose was on the roof. Now let's dive into this next piece of footage. It looks similar to the first, but on a much larger scale. This video was retrieved from the security camera of a classified institution. Don't look at me like that. That's all the information we received. The footage shows a bizarre creature casually walking through a sliding door and then crawling away. That's if I'm allowed to describe its movement like that. Have you ever seen Stranger Things, especially the scene where people and rats come together to form a strange blob-like entity? Well, that's exactly what this reminds me of. I'm not sure if this is indeed some sort of giant creature prowling in the night, or if it's just another well-crafted hoax. The sheer size and the way it moves are unsettling, to say the least. Julius believes it's a CGI creation, whilst Aaron thinks it's possibly real. I've chosen to stay on the fence on this because I'm not ready to be dragged into a debate, but what do you guys think? A subscriber sent us some truly intriguing footage. While exploring the woods, they stumbled upon a bizarre sight nestled among the trees. A triangular-shaped structure with a silhouette of something sitting inside. The footage is pretty shaky, making it hard to make out the details. The dim light filtering through the canopy adds an eerie atmosphere, amplifying the sense of mystery. Despite the unclear visuals, the center is convinced that what they captured was none other than Bigfoot sitting calmly within this strange structure. The structure looks like a makeshift shelter built by an intelligent being, perhaps even Bigfoot itself, or it could be that the silhouette is a trick of the light or a more mundane animal like a bear. No, who knows? But share your thoughts on what you think this could be. A truck driver went to work one morning, just like every other time, to go about his usual routine. But guess his surprise when he went to his truck and opened the door. The wheels of the truck were moving violently and the gear moving up and down. The truck was not moving or even ignited, so what in the world could be going on here? It's like the truck's got a mind of its own. But last time I checked, trucks don't come equipped with brains, right? I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure trucks don't do this. So what's the deal here? Is it some kind of auto-gymnastic routine, or maybe the ghost of a truck's past owner taking the wheel for a spin? I guess we may never know. Well, look at this mysterious bundle of joy. We've got a creature on our hands, and it's not exactly winning any beauty contests now, is it? After all, it's a hideous-looking creature that has the appearance of a baby. It also has very pale skin with razor-sharp teeth, spotting a strange smile that says, "I will eat you for dinner." Now, I don't know about you, but I'm seriously questioning who or what decided to create this little bundle of nightmares. Was it Mother Nature being sinister, or did some mad scientists decide to hit the Create Creepy Baby button in their secret lab? Share your thoughts. This man was prying open a huge rock and discovered something strange inside. There were these spiral shapes on both ends of the broken pieces. When I checked the comments, several people mentioned that this could be fossilized ammonite. Ammonites are ancient marine creatures that lived millions of years ago, and their spiral shells have been preserved in rocks. Finding one of these fossils is like holding a piece of prehistoric history in your hands. What do you think of this find? Wouldn't it be amazing to come across something so ancient and mysterious? A homeowner set up a camera in their washroom one night, and when they retrieved the footage, they found something incredible. An alligator, or at least a reptilian creature close to it, standing on the closed toilet seat. Now, I don't know where this person lives or the situation of their house, but how in the world does a creature like that get into their house and into the washroom? It's pretty wild when you think about it. Some skeptics are suggesting that this might be CGI, and honestly, in this age of digital manipulation, that's a fair consideration. But let's entertain the possibility that it's real for a moment. Alligators are known to turn up in unexpected places, especially in areas where they are common, like the southern United States. They can be surprisingly adept at getting into tight spots. They might come up through plumbing if they find their way into the sewer system, although that's pretty rare and more of an urban legend. But if we set aside the CGI theory, there are a few ways an alligator might end up in a bathroom. One possibility is that it entered the house through an open door or window and made its way to the washroom. Another more adventurous idea is that it might have been someone's unusual pet that got loose. While at a lake, a group of kids came across a huge fish lying lifeless in the water. While I don't understand why the little boy is in the water with it, one can't help but think that lifeless creature does look like a shark with razor-sharp teeth. It is hard to identify the exact kind of fish it is because its skin appears to have already started decomposing. It is too small to be a whale and too big to be a dolphin. So what could this be? Share your thoughts. This footage has been circulating the internet for quite a while now, but every time I watch it, it just gives me anxiety. In the footage, we have a group of daredevils living life on the edge, deciding to turn the famous Monticello Dam into their own personal swimming pool. These guys are having a grand old time frolicking in the water. Like they're on vacation when one guy takes a not-so-graceful slip and down he goes into the glory hole. Now, the glory hole is not there for a casual dip. It's to control the water released to and from the dam. I don't know why these guys decided to take a bath there because it's very dangerous. Maybe next time they'll stick to safer waters like a regular pool or, anywhere that's not a dam with a name like glory hole. While you try to determine the authenticity of that video, take a look at this particular one that was recorded by an individual looking into an abandoned home. Did you catch that? Not normal, right? First off, you don't expect to see anything when you look into an abandoned property. Secondly, should you see anything or anyone, you don't expect them to look like this unless it's a circus or some horror movie, which this is not, right? The individuals who recorded this stated that they started recording because they felt something weird was going on. It took a few seconds of recording to capture what you see on your screen. Some think it's a paranormal entity, whereas others think it's a ghost. What do you also think? I've come across many unsettling clips, but this next footage takes it to a whole new level.
Now, imagine being at a graveyard and you look over and see a mausoleum, and then after looking for a while, you see something move in that mausoleum. What are you gonna do next? I'm probably gonna end my time short.
A man was visiting a graveyard when he noticed something unusual in one of the mausoleums. Inside, there appeared to be someone lying down, covered by a blanket, as if they were sleeping. What made it eerie, though, was that the person lifted the blanket for a brief moment, revealing a glimpse of movement and then quickly ducked back under it, hiding. It's baffling to think about what this could mean. How did they get inside, and what happened to the remains that were supposed to be there?
Now, imagine being at a graveyard and you look over and see a mausoleum, and then after looking for a while, you see something move in that mausoleum. What are you gonna do next? I'm probably gonna end my time short.
I'm pretty sure the title confused you, but trust me, once you see it, you'll understand. Take a look. That's a strange-looking deer, is it not? I doubt if I've seen any deer look like that. If you know anything about deer, however, which I know you do based on past experience, then you're well aware of the fact that they shed their antlers. But I doubt you've seen any like this. Those antlers look like pigtails. Anyone who was born earlier than the 2000s knows those hairstyles used to be a hit. It's a pity we don't see them anymore, but I'm glad this deer brought the style back to memory. So while some of you may be worried about the deer, I believe it's perfectly fine. Otherwise, the wildlife experts can feel free to chip in. Back in August, this video was captured by a security camera and later shared on TikTok. In the video, a man stepped out of his house with his 2 dogs, presumably for a playful outing. Just as the fun was about to commence, the man's attention was drawn to something approaching, and it frightened him. He hurriedly retreated into the house, and that's when a massive moose came into view. Concerned for his dog's safety, the man called them to his side, fearing that the colossal beast might pose a threat to them. The moose, however, had different plans and simply strolled into the woods. While moose are herbivores and don't consume meat, they're known for their significant size and can be quite aggressive if they feel threatened. Their antlers make them dangerous in such situations. Although this particular one appeared to have lost its antlers, it didn't make it less dangerous. The man can count himself lucky to have survived. Just in case you're confused, listen to me and don't be. According to the man who recorded this footage, this woman showed up at his home and started making noise like an owl. He thought it was a prank, so he stepped out to look, and this is what he saw. What do you guys think?
What?
This footage was captured by a security guard assigned to watch over a graveyard after locals reported seeing a strange apparition that had been unsettling people in the area. Hoping to get to the bottom of the mystery, he was stationed there to keep an eye on things, and what he caught on camera that first night might explain the apparition the locals were complaining of. In the middle of the night, he noticed a faint light on the grave. He zoomed on in, and he saw a person nearby holding a small red container. The person seemed to be scooping something from the container into their palm, then blowing on it, sending a powdery substance scattering into the air. Just as things could not get more bizarre, the person suddenly jumped into what looked like a freshly dug grave. But here's where things get even stranger. Before the person leapt, a shadowy head seemed to bob up from the ground where he jumped into it. Like he just dug a grave and brought the dead back to life. Perhaps that is why there is an apparition roaming the graveyard. Some are convinced it's staged, but others think it may hint at something darker. What do you think is going on here?
What?
Next, we have one of the oldest yet convincing evidence of a chupacabra. Take a look. In the footage, we see a creature that looks somewhere like a dog, but without the fur, typically associated with our canine friends. Its body proportions are also not exactly right. Chupas have long been described as such, and this creature fits the bill. The only thing left is to see if it sucks blood out of other animals. But do tell me, what do you think? Talking about being safe, I doubt anyone could be safe anywhere close to where the next Trailcam image I'm about to show you was captured. What do you think this creature is? If you said dogman or wolfman, we wouldn't have an issue with it because it literally looks like one. Wolves and wild dogs can be very dangerous because of their feral nature. To have a creature that has all those features and is yet much stronger and humanoid is a different ballgame altogether. The owner of the Trailcam that captured this states that he's been shaken and worried for his family ever since their Trailcam captured this image, and I can't blame him. I would have, however, moved from the area because hunting down this creature could prove fatal, and it's safe to assume that it knows where the humans live. If it decides to change its diet to something a bit more human, the family would certainly be in trouble since humans are in short supply where the image was captured. I gave my word not to reveal the location, but what would you have done in their situation? Share your thoughts with us. This footage was recorded by a man who was woken up by strange screams in the middle of the night. Now, most of us would probably hide under the covers and call for help. The most we may do is grab a flashlight, but not this guy. Oh no, he went out to see what it was, and this is what he found. Hanging from the tree is this ghostly figure disturbing the whole neighborhood. The first thing that came to my mind was a ghost, but why the screaming though? Is it an evil spirit having a midnight meltdown on the tree branches, or did someone lose their way during a creepy costume party? I mean, who hangs out on a tree in the middle of the night? The footage abruptly ends there, so we don't know if the man went further to investigate or if he just retired to bed. What do you think that thing is, though? Any experience? It's not every day you see something like this, is it? My first thought seeing this was interesting CGI, but Aaron, our in-house conspiracy theorist and expert in all things paranormal, suggests it's St. Elmo. For those hearing it for the first time like me, St. Elmo, or St. Elmo's fire, is a fascinating entity in Filipino folklore, often described as a mysterious ball of fire that appears in remote areas, particularly near marshes, rivers, or graveyards. Its name derives from St. Elmo's fire, a real atmospheric phenomenon where a bluish or violet glow can appear on pointed objects during thunderstorms, named after St. Erasmus, or St. Elmo, the patron saint of sailors. However, the San Elmo of Filipino legend carries a more supernatural significance, often viewed as a restless spirit or an omen. In Philippine stories, San Elmo is typically associated with the souls of people who died tragically or those who have unresolved issues on Earth. Some believe that these fiery orbs represent spirits trying to communicate with the living or find peace, while others see them as guardians of hidden treasures or places. The San Telmo is said to float, dance, or follow travelers, leading some astray in dense forests or at night. Accounts of San Telmo's sightings usually describe the flame as hypnotic, instilling both fear and wonder in those who encounter it. While scientific explanations like will-o'-the-wisps caused by the combustion of gases from decaying organic material have been proposed, the San Telmo remains a powerful symbol of mystery in Filipino culture, embodying the awe and caution with which people regard the unknown forces of nature and the spirits of the departed. Amidst the solitude of the deck, a mysterious sight unfolds. We're looking at a creature with just 3 legs and a gray body covered in strange black dots that create a unique and puzzling pattern, unlike anything we've seen in nature. Despite having only a few limbs, this creature doesn't give up easily. It keeps pushing forward, leaving the fisherman filming it completely amazed and wondering what on earth he was witnessing. All who saw it were left with questions. Is the creature from some undiscovered world? Could it be an alien visitor from beneath the waves? Or maybe it's the last of a species that's unlike anything we've ever known. Perhaps something from the deep sea made its way up higher than it was supposed to be. We don't know, but perhaps the marine experts here could help. We'll be reading the comments. Would you explore tunnels? Well, the individuals responsible for our next clip thought it would be a good idea. Watch what they found. As they delved deeper into the maze-like passages of the cave, their headlamps revealed a creature that was unlike anything they'd ever seen. This cryptid figure had a strikingly human-like quality, walking on two sturdy legs much like a human, and it even had arm-like appendages. But it was enormous and had a noticeable hunch in its posture, giving it an otherworldly appearance. Its body had rough, textured features that hinted at a thick covering of hair or fur. At least that's what we think looking at the footage. What do you think we could be dealing with here? Please share your thoughts in the comment section.
Bocah kacir ini warga desa ini. Tuh, masih selamat itu abang itu ini. Abang tuh, makasih ya Mas. Makasih Bang.
This clip was sent to us with claims that it was a real-life recording of the Sukumanta. For those unfamiliar with them, the Sukumanta are mysterious, elusive beings said to inhabit the dense forests of Asia, Sumatra, Indonesia. Known in local folklore for their small stature, light skin, and remarkable speed, these forest dwellers are believed to vanish into the jungle almost instantly, making them nearly impossible to catch or study. While some theories suggest they might be descendants of an isolated indigenous tribe or even a yet undiscovered species, others see them as spirit-like figures from the Assamese mythology. Despite a lack of concrete evidence, viral sightings, including a 2007 video, have kept the legend alive, sparking fascination and debate. Whether mythical or real, the Sukumanta represent the enduring mystery and allure of the Sumatra's wild landscapes. Given these facts, you can understand the hype and excitement around them. Looking at this clip, however, I'm pretty sure it's fake. The reactions of the individuals are too unreal to consider genuine. Also, the individuals look to be covered in soot, and this isn't the first time I have seen a clip from them. Maybe, just maybe, I'm just being skeptical, or maybe this is the real deal. But what do you think?
Bocah kacir ini warga desa ini. Tuh, masih selamat itu abang itu ini. Abang tuh, makasih ya Mas. Makasih Bang.
Dreams are fascinating topics, especially when they intertwine with deeply held beliefs and spirituality. Take a look at this woman's encounter after she woke from a terrifying dream.
We were laughing, haha, everything's fine. I got good vibes, and all of a sudden, they all look at me, and they're just lifeless. There's at least 30 people in the room, okay? And they all look at me, and they're like this.
In the dream, figures told her that God was not real and wouldn't come to save her. When she woke up, the fear lingered, and she felt a strange, heavy presence in her home. It scared, so she prayed fervently. Then unexpectedly, she heard 3 knocks at the door. When she looked out of the window, there was no one there. Strangely, after that moment, the intense feeling of unease lifted and was replaced by calm. This experience raises questions about the connection between our dreams and reality, as well as the nature of fear, faith, and perception. Was it a spiritual encounter, a manifestation of deep-seated fear, or something else entirely?
I heard 3 knocks on my front door, and I looked outside, and nobody was there. It was late, okay? It was late. And so after that, I was like, oh my God, whatever I casted out of my house was it got casted out. Like,
Graveyards are typically undisturbed places where the dead are laid to rest in peace. However, someone shared this disturbing footage showing a graveyard with numerous graves that have holes in them, as if someone had intentionally dug them up. To make it even more unsettling, these holes were filled with water. Such sights in a graveyard can be quite disturbing and are often seen as unholy or disrespectful. The question arises, who could have done this? Gravediggers, perhaps, or is there another explanation? One commenter suggested that this footage was taken at a Louisiana graveyard after Hurricane Katrina. Considering the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina, this explanation seems plausible. The severe flooding and high water levels from the hurricane could have caused significant disruption to the graves, leading to the appearance of water-filled holes. The question now is this true, or is that a cover-up for something rather ominous happening elsewhere? Imagine you were out there taking a stroll when all of a sudden you see this guy from a distance. What would be the first thing in your mind? Well, for me, I'd seen Snake, but in my thoughts, of course. The last thing I, or anyone, should want is to startle a snake in the midst of greens when it can easily manipulate its way around, hiding in the foliage and possibly attack. The one recording handled himself quite well, which allowed him to record and take a good picture, a video of the creature. Looking at it again, it appears to have more features than you would associate with a snake. When I look at this, what comes to mind are the Chinese depictions of dragons. Do you think this creature could be ancient or have something to do with those ancient and powerful beings? Or do you think this is a hoax and someone is trying to get their 5 minutes of fame? Whatever your thoughts are, please share them in the comments section. Still on strange and undiscernible captures, we move to the seaside where an individual captured something unique. Take a look. It starts off as a foggy mess that leaves you wondering what it is that you are looking at. Within a few seconds, though, whatever it is comes into view. We still can't see much of it, but it's not pareidolia at play. We see what looks like a head and maybe horns. Some who saw the clip in the paranormal group it was uploaded in believe this might be a leviathan. Some also mention Chulu. There were some selected few who thought it could be a UFO base. Not everyone believes the capture is genuine, though. There were some who thought and believed it was all fake and made up. It's not fair to call any of these assumptions right or wrong, since all they are assumptions. But anyway, you've seen it too, so what do you personally think? A passenger on an aeroplane captured something intriguing while filming out of the window. Suspended in the sky was a shiny, unidentified craft that hovered momentarily. It appeared metallic, reflecting sunlight in a way that made it stand out clearly against the blue sky. Then in a split second, it zoomed off at an impossible speed, disappearing from view almost instantly. This footage has sparked debates, with some suggesting it might be a highly advanced drone or experimental aircraft. However, others are convinced it points to something beyond our current technological understanding, possibly a UFO. What do you guys think this could be?
Oh, whoa. What is that? It's like teleporting. It's like that.
A group of friends decided to take a nighttime swim, eager for a refreshing adventure under the moonlit sky, because nothing could go wrong. Their excitement, however, quickly turned to dread as they approached the water's edge. There, illuminated by the faint light of the moon, was a bizarre creature. It had a smooth, small head perched on a long neck and a fish-like tail that flicked ominously in the water. The sight was so unsettling that the friends froze, their night of fun abruptly turning into a scene from a horror movie. When they shared their experience, opinions were sharply divided. Some viewers shrugged it off, insisting it was nothing more than a seal common in those waters. However, others speculated wildly and were convinced that the friends had encountered a genuine sea monster, a creature of legend and mystery lurking beneath the waves. What do you think it was? During an eclipse, some observers captured a truly bizarre scene in the sky. A flaming orb was flying through the sky, and atop this orb stood a dark, humanoid figure. I've seen a lot of strange things, but this one is truly otherworldly. What could this flaming orb be, and who or what could the figure standing on it be? This sighting raises numerous intriguing questions. The flaming orb could potentially be explained by natural phenomenon such as a rare atmospheric condition or a meteor. Sometimes natural events can take on unexpected appearances, especially when viewed through the unique lighting conditions of an eclipse. However, the presence of a dark humanoid figure standing atop the orb complicates this explanation. Personally speaking, I don't know what to make of it. Can you? If the Dogman is your favorite cryptid, then you might find our first clip of the day rather interesting. Take a look.
Aí, pessoal, suposto lobisomem aqui de Petrolina, ó, no caminho de Pedrinha. Tá vendo aí? Muitas pessoas dizem que é lenda, que não existe. Tô mostrando aí pra vocês aí, que é a pura verdade, ó.
É, olha as patas como é diferente.
If what you are seeing is confusing you, then you're not alone. When I saw this the first time, I wondered what I was looking at. Sure, I could see that it was a creature that had been knocked down by a vehicle of some sort, but what exactly is the creature that I was looking at? Well, that was the mystery, and I didn't have to wait long to be told it was allegedly a dogman that had been knocked down on the road. While it does look dead, a part of me feels like it was never alive at all. It looks like a doll or a costume that has been deliberately left out to create the impression of a dogman. I mean, I could be wrong, and Julius, our resident science wiz's skepticism could be rubbing off on me, but then again, what do you guys think? You've seen the clip as well.
Aí, pessoal, suposto lobisomem aqui de Petrolina, ó, no caminho de Pedrinha. Tá vendo aí? Muitas pessoas dizem que é lenda, que não existe. Tô mostrando aí pra vocês aí, que é a pura verdade, ó.
É, olha as patas como é diferente.
Wolfman.
Dude, that sounds like a fucking... Is that a wolfman or a wolf? I know you... Alright, let's go! Go!
This was uploaded online by a member of our paranormal platform, claiming he and his family had encountered a wolfman. I have my reservations about the clip, but what do you guys also think? Could this be genuine, or is someone messing around with us?
Dude, that thing is big, whatever it is.
Some archaeologists recently unearthed something truly intriguing, a mummified head of what appears to be an alien-looking creature. This head is elongated and has an almost otherworldly appearance, as if it was severed from its body. For years, there have been countless stories and theories about the existence of aliens. While details about this discovery are still scarce, it raises a tantalizing question. Could this be the proof of alien life we've all been waiting for? This discovery could potentially revolutionize our understanding of extraterrestrial life. Is it a relic from a long-forgotten civilization that had contact with beings from another world, or perhaps a genetic anomaly from an ancient human? Julius isn't sure about this one and wants to look into it. That's a first because he normally just tosses these out. Fingers crossed, let's see what he makes out of this. Now, speaking of serpents, what are we looking at here? Imagine a snake, but not just any snake, a peculiar one with white hair standing straight up on its head. It's almost as though it were a character from the Trolls cartoon. This unusual sight leaves us with so many questions. What kind of snake could this be? Is this some sort of bizarre mutation, or has this snake found a way to visit a salon? In reality, some snakes can indeed have strange and unique features due to genetic anomalies or environmental factors. However, this particular snake looks so outlandish that it seems like it's straight out of a fantasy world. There's a possibility that someone planted the hair on its head, a great possibility at that. But then again, could this be a rare species we've never seen before, or one that nature has decided to give a quirky makeover to? Well, let me hear your thoughts.
What was that? Oh, this. Oh, this.
This footage comes from Sydney, Australia. One evening, a woman was outside when she noticed something unusual in the sky. Behind the clouds, she saw a formation that appeared to be a triangular UFO, but it was made up entirely of lights. The lights moved slowly within the cloud, maintaining the triangular shape as it drifted across the sky. Could this be a new type of UFO, or perhaps an advanced aircraft? What do you guys think?
Oh, ¿por qué esa vaina?
This footage comes with an unsettling mystery. A group staying at a seaside hotel reported hearing a woman's wails in the night. The cries sounded as if they were coming from somewhere out near the water, prompting them to call the police. When an officer arrived, he began recording. He too heard the wails echoing over the shoreline. Strangely though, as he moved closer to where the sound came from, it drifted even further out to sea. The incident reminds me of La Llorona, the legendary ghost said to lure people to their doom with her mournful cries. But was this really an encounter with La Llorona, or was there someone genuinely in distress calling out for help in the dark?
Oh, ¿por qué esa vaina?
This next clip is one you're going to have to help me with. What do you think is going on here? I watched this over and over and over again, trying to decipher and discern what could be going on here. But try as I may, I just couldn't. I had to put my ego and pride aside to ask Julius, our science whiz. It only took a few seconds, but after analyzing the clip, he stated that the dogs had been tied by the waist. Why? Well, it's hard to say. With what? That's also something we can't determine from the clip. But that's our working hypothesis. What do you guys think? We've got a group of men who were operating a mysterious machine with rotating parts submerged in murky waters. The exact purpose of the machine is unclear. Perhaps it's for catching fish or some other task, but what happened next was truly startling. Out of nowhere, an alligator suddenly lunged out of the water and latched onto the machine with its powerful jaws. The sheer speed and aggression of the attack took everyone by surprise. The alligator's grip was fierce, but fortunately it lost its hold and fell back into the water. Just look at how fast and aggressive that alligator was. It leapt up with such ferocity, reminding us of the raw power these creatures possess. It was definitely a close call for the men. Do you love snow? I know I do. But what do you do when it only snows in one spot within your neighborhood? Does my question confuse you? Watch this.
This happened at an unknown location, but if you look at it, It's only snowing in one place. Only over this one tree. If you look around, everything else is green.
Would you believe me if I told you that the tree with the snow substances on it stands in the only spot in the entire area that receives now when it snows? Sounds like fiction, right? The only thing is that it's not. This is actually real. I know I can ask Julius, but thought it would be better to hear from you. What do you guys think is going on here? Is there a scientific explanation for this phenomenon? Let us know in the comments section. And by us, I mean Aaron, our resident conspiracy theorist, and myself. We're trying to avoid going to Julius. We look forward to reading your comments.
This happened at an unknown location, but if you look at it, it's only snowing in one place. Only over this one tree. If you look around, everything else is green.
One night, a woman went stargazing. She decided to record the moment when something unexpected happened. From high in the sky, a strange light suddenly began to descend. It had two distinct colors, red and green. She filmed as the object fell beyond a line of trees, vanishing from view, and then, in the instant, the entire sky lit up brilliantly, illuminating the landscape before fading back into its usual darkness. Many who have seen this video are debating what it could be. Could this be an identified flying object? Have you heard of Ceres? It's a fascinating little world that's alleged to exist in space. Ceres isn't actually a planet, but a dwarf planet. It's smaller than Mars, about 2/3 its size. You can find it in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Though Ceres was first spotted way back in 1801 by an Italian astronomer named Giuseppe Piazzi, NASA took a closer look in 2015. They sent a spacecraft called Dawn to explore it. Dawn's visit to Ceres was eye-opening. Scientists discovered bright spots on its surface which turned out to be salt deposits. This suggests that Ceres might have, or had, some water beneath its surface. The glowing effect of these bright spots comes from sunlight reflecting off the salty patches. Ceres is about 590 miles wide, making it the biggest object in the asteroid belt and the only dwarf planet in that part of our solar system. You can't see Ceres with the naked eye because it's too small and too far away. It's over 250 million miles from Earth, so it's just a tiny speck in the vastness of space. Even with a telescope, it appears as a faint dot. That has me thinking, what do we know more about what's hiding in plain sight? A helicopter was flying over the ocean when something unusual caught the pilot's eye. Below, in the vast expanse of water, were two parallel streaks moving swiftly. At first glance, it looked like some sort of enormous serpent, but the way these streaks moved, straight and unwavering, didn't match the typical slithering motion of a serpent. Could this be evidence of colossal sea monsters or perhaps something else entirely? According to Julius, our in-house science whiz, the straight-line movement suggests it might not be a living creature but rather some kind of large underwater object or phenomenon. What do you think? This footage is from a live TV broadcast. A man was watching a news report on a collapsed bridge and suddenly, in the background, two birds flew by. The birds don't just fly out of the camera's view, instead they disappear entirely. This isn't the first time viewers have reported people or animals glitch on live television. There are several documented instances of people appearing, disappearing, or even momentarily phasing out on screen. While some believe these could be technical errors caused by broadcasting issues or the technology used in live feeds, others speculate that there's something more mysterious going on, like matrix glitches, parallel universes, or portals even. But what are your thoughts on what happened to these birds? A man heard strange noises coming from his backyard one night and decided to investigate while staying safely inside his home. He peered through the window and began filming with his camera. What he captured is truly startling. A creature suddenly dropped out of nowhere into his backyard, landing behind some bushes. The creature had an alien-like appearance. Some viewers believe that it may have used some sort of portal to arrive there, given how it appeared so abruptly. The eerie nature of its arrival and its strange look raises the question: was this an otherworldly visitor, or could there be another explanation? What do you think? Wondering what we are looking at here? Well, scientists have created tiny robots that can move and join individual cells. This amazing technology is called microscale robotics for single-cell manipulation. These tiny robots are incredibly precise and can work at the scale of a single cell, giving us control over how cells behave and interact. They could be used in many exciting ways in medicine and biology, like delivering drugs exactly where they're needed, repairing tissues, or studying how cells act in different situations. Imagine being able to fix damaged tissues, creating new tissues for transplants, or even cure diseases by targeting them at the cellular level. This technology completely changed how we approach medical treatments and scientific research, opening up new possibilities for healthcare. I don't know about you, but this has me fascinated and excited. Someone found this strange creature walking on the ground. It was some sort of insect with what looked like little sticks sticking out from its back. I had never seen this before until I did a little research and found out that this is called a bagworm. Bagworms are fascinating creatures. They're actually the larvae of moths, and they create protective cases around themselves using silken bits of plant material like twigs and leaves, which is why it looked like it had sticks sticking out of its back. These cases or bags provide camouflage and protection as the larvae feed on foliage. What's really interesting about bagworms is their life cycle. These larvae hatch and immediately begin to build their protective bags, which they carry around with them as they move. When they pupate, they do so inside these bags. The adult males emerge as moths, but the females often remain in their bags, where they lay eggs to start the cycle anew. While they might look a bit creepy or unusual at first glance, bagworms are a natural part of many ecosystems. They can, however, become pests if their population grew too large, as they can defoliate trees and shrubs. So next time you see what looks like a walking bundle of sticks, you'll know you're looking at a bagworm. When I saw this, I felt the clip had to be CGI or fake, but Julius didn't. His eyes lit up and he called it interesting. Anyone who knows Julius knows that's a big deal. If you're joining us for the first time, Julius is our in-house scientist who is skeptical about our paranormal videos. In rare instances like today, however, he gets excited. Usually when that happens, it's a scientific phenomenon, and surely enough, this turned out to be something like that. this is a gas fire in the desert. If you're like me who is hearing the term for the first time, I did some research and found out that gas fires in the desert often occur due to natural gas vents or pockets igniting, either from lightning, human activity, or volcanic processes. A well-known example is the Darvaza gas crater in Turkmenistan, also called the Door to Hell, where a burning natural gas field has created a continuous blaze that's been active for decades, illuminating the desert with a fiery glow. Compared to that, this is small, I guess. This next footage comes from Argentina and is taken from a live TV broadcast. The show covered weather updates and showcased real-time footage of various areas. However, in this particular clip, something eerie was spotted that caught the viewer's attention. The footage was focused on someone's backyard at night. At first glance, everything seemed normal, but then an odd movement on the grass drew attention. When you look closer, it appears to be the upper torso of a man with no legs hopping rapidly across the yard. The figure moved unnaturally, almost gliding while maintaining a swift, ghostly motion. The ghostly figure's sudden appearance and movement make it difficult to dismiss as a mere trick of the eye. What do you think this could be? A bad vibe video mix or something more mysterious? Sewer pipes run deep underground, carrying everything from human waste and muddy water to industrial runoff laden with chemicals. It's a toxic cocktail down there. So what happens to any creatures that might live in such an environment like frogs? Do the chemicals affect them? This question became all the more pressing after a recent chilling discovery. A person peering through a sewer opening captured footage of an enormous creature. It was a frog, but it was not frog-sized. No, it was more human-sized and lurking in the darkness. How is this possible? Could it have mutated due to the chemical-laden environment, or are we looking at a new species of frog? While standing on a cliff and gazing down at the ocean below, someone came across a fascinating sight. In the water, a large fish with its gills prominently displayed on both sides of its body was swimming. This fish looked enormous and bore a striking resemblance to a shark. It moved menacingly, almost as if it was waiting for someone to jump into the water. As it turns out, this fish is indeed a shark, specifically a basking shark. The basking shark is the second largest shark species right after the whale shark. Despite its intimidating size and appearance, this giant is not deadly. Basking sharks feed on plankton, constantly swimming with their mouths wide open and their gills stretched wide to trap their tiny prey. Though they pose no direct threat to humans, their rough skin can cause scratches if someone brushes against them. Even with this knowledge, the sight of such a massive shark gliding through the water would likely deter many people from venturing anywhere near it. Would you dare to get close to a basking shark? Sometimes we forget that security guards and even law enforcement officers are human too. They can feel fear just like the rest of us. This footage serves as a chilling reminder of that. In this clip, a security guard was patrolling one evening when he heard some unsettling noises and decided to investigate, using his phone to record and torch the light as well. What he captured in the darkness was this eerie figure that resembled a person but appeared to be covered in some kind of shiny substance. Most unsettling of all, its eyes were glowing in the dark. Before he could react further, the creature suddenly bounded toward him on all fours, moving with inhuman agility. The guard did not wait around. He bolted from the scene as fast as he could. Some viewers speculate that this could have been a person under the influence or perhaps possessed, while others believe this encounter hints at something more supernatural. Julius, on the other hand, sees nothing but a doctored clip. But what do you guys think? A family living in the Appalachian Mountains decided to take action after experiencing numerous paranormal encounters. To capture evidence, they set up security cameras around their house. One camera in particular, positioned to face the woods at the back of the property, recorded something in the dead of night that left them stunned. The footage revealed an apparition moving amidst the trees. It was human-shaped but appeared as a small, smoke-like entity weaving in and out of sight. The figure drifted through the dark forest, vanishing and reappearing as if it were part of the shadows themselves. Given the notorious reputation of the Appalachian Mountains for eerie and unexplained phenomenon, this sighting is hardly surprising. With so many legends and stories rooted in the area, this is no surprise at all. What do you think this entity could be? A lost spirit or a wisp?
God, look at these big-ass mosquitoes here!
Now let's take a look at another strange footage that was posted online. A man shared what he thought were very huge mosquitoes flying about, but when you look closer, you would notice that these are no mosquitoes. The creatures had what looked like transparent wings, almost glass-like, and their bodies were human-like. They resembled fairies. I don't know what this man was seeing, but those clearly are not mosquitoes. This sighting was truly fascinating. The transparent glass-like wings and human-like bodies are features that set these creatures apart from any known insect species, including mosquitoes. What do you guys think we're dealing with here?
Big-ass mosquito!
People can be very creepy. Take a look at this footage. A group of friends were out at night when they noticed a rather peculiar building. It was a big house with all the lights off except for one room with multiple windows that had the light on. Eerily, in each window stood a pair of legs from the waist down. The legs were not moving and the house had this strange, eerie feel to it. What could be going on there? Is it some sort of haunted house, or is there some ritual happening? The scene looks like something straight out of a horror movie, leaving everyone wondering about the mystery behind those motionless legs and the ominous atmosphere of the house. You've seen it. What do you think? Our next clip comes from a doorbell cam, and you wouldn't believe what it captured. Take a look. That's certainly a strange thing, but not the kind of stranger you would expect at your door. It looks weird and appears to be levitating. It also looks like it has an orb in the front which casts a shadow whilst it moves. Well, not normal, right? We've had trouble determining what exactly this is, so can you help? In this next footage, captured on a secluded property with a security camera monitoring the grassy land, something eerie unfolds. In the middle of the night, a humanoid figure appears in the footage. It moves with an unusual gait, bent at the waist as if searching for a place to stay hidden. The creature carefully navigates the area before settling behind a large tree, staying out of sight. While some viewers argue that this could be an intruder or a person trying to avoid detection, skeptics believe that this sighting could be something far more mysterious, like a skinwalker. What do you think? Is this just a trespasser, or could it be evidence of something more paranormal?
the most obvious fade trap I have ever seen.
Have you ever heard of fae traps? According to folklore, these are traps set by fairies to lure humans into their realm. These traps can take various forms, often appearing as something innocuous or beautiful. Recently, a girl went out to pick flowers with her sister and came across something extraordinary. Amidst the blooms, she noticed a small white-petaled flower that was rotating like a fan. She immediately identified it as a fae trap. This rotating flower is known as the Claytonia cordifolia. These flowers are indeed beautiful, but what baffles many is how the petals rotate in such a mesmerizing way. Is this a natural phenomenon, or is there something more magical at play? Share your thoughts.
Ever seen.
I'm gonna go touch it.
No, Maria, you're gonna get kidnapped.
Bears are very curious creatures. They'll go anywhere to satisfy their curiosity. One night, a family with a property in the woods got a big surprise when they found a bear inside one of their parked cars. The bear was rummaging through the car, probably looking for food or anything interesting. As soon as it noticed the people around, it bounded out of the car. Now, we don't know if the animal opened the door on its own or if the door was already open, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the former. Bears are incredibly smart and have been known to figure out how to open car doors, especially when they're motivated by the scent of something tasty. Just imagine the scene. You're settling in for the night, maybe watching TV or getting ready for bed, when you hear some noise outside. You look out and see a bear inside your car, tossing things around like it's on a treasure hunt. It's a mix of shock, fascination, and maybe a bit of amusement. Bears' curiosity often gets them into these kinds of situations. They're always on the lookout for easy food sources, and a car can sometimes hold all sorts of interesting smells and treats. It's a reminder of the importance of keeping vehicles locked and free of food or anything that might attract these intelligent and powerful animals.
Wow, he's big.
It's always the little things that seem to get away, and if this clip is to be believed, we've got a little thing getting away. Take a look. Did you catch that? If not, take a second look. In the low right corner, you should see what looks like a dark being or creature moving. Not sure whether to call the movement stealthy, since it might just be how it moves due to its size. If you've been on this channel for a while, then you know what my prediction would be. If not, then here it is. A duende. I think it's a duende. For those unfamiliar with the term, in Spanish and Latin American folklore, a duende is a small mischievous creature, somewhat like a goblin or an elf, known for causing minor disturbances around the home. These beings are often believed to dwell in forests or hidden spaces, playing pranks on people or even helping those they take a liking to. Do you think that's what we could be dealing with here? Let's hear your thoughts. In this remarkable footage, a man is sitting beside a massive 500-pound ape, a sight that feels almost surreal. Just look at how close they are to each other, as though they're longtime friends sharing a quiet moment. The sheer size difference is mind-blowing. The ape, likely a gorilla, dwarfs the man in both height and bulk, exuding a raw strength that commands respect. What's striking is the calmness between them. The ape is seated right next to the man without any sign of tension, and the man himself seems relaxed, as though he's accustomed to this incredible proximity with such a powerful animal. Summer comes with a lot of heat, so people easily get dehydrated. Because of this, they often go for juicy fruits, especially watermelons. Due to the high demand, some sellers resort to unethical practices. They inject substances called adulterants into the watermelons to make them look redder and riper and last longer on the shelves. However, not everyone does this, so how can you identify the good ones? Here's what you do. First, check for any white dust on the watermelon. This could be a substance used to artificially ripen the fruit. Next, choose watermelons with yellow patches on them. These patches indicate that the fruit ripened naturally on the ground and are likely to be sweeter. Watermelons with webbed markings are also a good choice. These markings are a sign of natural pollination and often result in better tasting fruit. Lastly, when you cut through the watermelon, run a white tissue over the flesh. If the tissue gets stained red, it's a sign of artificial color enhancement. I hope these tips help you pick the best watermelons for the hot summer. Stay hydrated and enjoy your fruit. Now, what are we looking at here? A strange blob-like entity just crawling on the floor. It resembles underdeveloped chicken eggs stuck together and slithering around, creating a very unsettling sight. What could this be? Is it some sort of unknown creature or just a product of CGI trickery? The way it moves is eerily organic, but in this age of advanced special effects, it's hard to determine the authenticity of such footage. Instead of passing judgment on this, perhaps I should leave it to you guys. What do you see? An alien life form, a mutated organism, or simply a well-crafted digital illusion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Back in 2011, a family was camping in the Kansas woods when they spotted something unusual passing by their site. Moving through the trees was a huge bipedal creature covered in thick hair from head to toe. It moved with an almost calculated, stealthy gait as it made its way deeper into the woods. While many who've seen the footage immediately labeled it a Bigfoot, this one didn't appear as massive as the Bigfoot most descriptions paint. Some believe it was staged, maybe a prank or a person in a costume, but others argue it could be authentic evidence of a real Bigfoot sighting, suggesting that not all Bigfoots are alike in size. What do you think? Take a look at this security footage captured inside a home. The camera recorded what appeared to be a ghostly figure emerging from one room and heading into another. The apparition is transparent and faint, but when the footage is zoomed in and examined closely, it resembles a little girl dressed in Victorian-era clothing. This detail adds an even more chilling element to the sighting. It might be wise for the homeowner to look into the history of the house. Could there be a story waiting to be uncovered? There have been countless tales of sea monsters throughout history, from hydras to the Loch Ness Monster and even sea serpents. Now take a look at this intriguing footage. Someone captured something moving in the water from afar. It was long and big, with about 3 fin-like structures on its back, each a reasonable distance from the other. Whatever this is, it must be truly enormous. The sight of this mysterious creature has sparked a lot of speculation. Some viewers believe it could be a modern-day sea serpent, an ancient creature from the depths that has eluded discovery. Others think it might be an unidentified marine animal, possibly a new species. What do you think? While venturing to an abandoned house in the woods, someone came across a strange creature standing at the window. It was a terrifying sight. The creature's face was black and white, and its eyes were pure white. It had razor-sharp teeth and emitted haunting sounds as it turned its head looking around. But what could this creature be? Some in the paranormal community think it could be a paranormal entity, while others believe it might just be a person in makeup or a costume. Without more evidence, it's hard to say for certain what the creature is. What do you think? Is this creature a genuine paranormal entity, or could it be someone playing an elaborate trick? The property owner recently reviewed her security footage and noticed something strange. The footage, taken in the middle of the night, captured a person standing on the other side of the road. For a few seconds, everything seemed still, but then the scene took an unsettling turn. As she watched, the figure suddenly began to change shape. The person seemed to transform into a four-legged creature, and the transformation was not smooth. There was a clear distortion in the atmosphere around them, almost as if reality itself was bending. Once fully transformed, the creature ran off into the darkness, leaving the road empty once more. What do you think? Could this be real evidence of something supernatural, or simply a digital anomaly? This next clip comes from a paranormal channel on this platform called Voyager Overland. Take a look. This was captured during an overland trip to Ruby Falls in Alberta Rockies. A trail camera, and yes, today I mean trail cam. I can hear some of you giggling already. This is a trail cam? Okay, I'm sorry about the other time. Anyway, back to this. They set up a trail cam on one of their trucks, and this is what they saw in the morning. A creature showed up and was moving around the camp. There were times when the creature appeared translucent and times when it appeared more solid. What do you think we could be dealing with? Some think it's a Sasquatch and that it only appears translucent, sometimes because the rays from the infrared camera aren't hitting it well. There are also some who are convinced it's a paranormal being. And you've seen the clip, so you tell us what you think. The nighttime can be eerie and mysterious, and this story is no exception.
Hey! Hey!
One night after a heavy snowstorm, a man and his dogs decided to venture out for a walk. The snow-covered landscape was serene, but soon their peaceful stroll took a chilling turn. In the middle of their walk, the man started recording after hearing loud vocalizations echoing from all around them. The sounds were unnerving, piercing cries that seemed to come from nowhere. There was no sign of any creature nearby, and it certainly didn't sound like a bear. But then it hit him. Could a pack of wolves be responsible? Could wolves be tailing them? Well, he wasn't sure, but somehow made it out alive to upload. Once this went live, the internet viewers had different, more sinister theories. Some suggested the sounds belonged to hellhounds, mythical creatures often associated with the underworld and bad omens. Others claimed it was La Llorona, the weeping woman from Latin American folklore whose ghostly cries are said to haunt the night. Another chilling theory was that the sounds came from a Wendigo, a malevolent spirit from Native American legend known for its eerie calls and insatiable hunger. You heard them too. What do you think we're dealing with? We all know how devastating the wildfire situation in Los Angeles has been and how controlling these fires has become a significant challenge. Now take a look at this footage of firefighting drones in action. These drones are equipped with hoses, flying over the raging flames and even up to burning buildings, spraying liquid directly onto the fire. If America had access to this technology, could the wildfires have been extinguished much sooner? Maybe it's about time we allocate money and resources to the makers of inventions like these instead of pushing so much into weapons development. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.